Oh! Yeah, I got the ripped jeans with the cardigan. I apologize if the audio quality is bad, whatever. I keep hitting the mic with my freaking... No, I'm not going to say that. If I keep hitting the mic, whatever. It is what it is. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. So, the most consequential election is coming up. As I'm recording this, it is October 30th. So it is very likely that when you're watching this, you know how the outcome of the 2024 election, well, you know what that is. I don't. But I'm actually not particularly worried. Despite how terrible things might seem, how divided people are, blah blah blah. You've probably heard all the talking points, all the fucking centrist, liberal talking points. It'll be fine. It will truly be fine. I know it's easy for me to say that, but Kamala Harris is probably going to win. Probably. Trump is a deeply, deeply unpopular person. Honestly, we should swing way further left than just Kamala Harris. She seems like a nice woman, though. So here goes a big list of fictional characters who would sponsor / endorse Trump. And hey, it's October 30th right now, 2024. There are still 2 days left for an October surprise, so maybe these are actual endorsements that will happen in the next 2 days and will push Trump over the edge, where he will win in a landslide. Up first, Lord Farquaad from Shrek. He is a feudal lord with a granite jawline and a silky, helmety bob. He's also perhaps a little insecure, but he kind of covers that up or compensates for that with an elevated sense of fashion and a strong personal ambition to find a trophy wife. Number 2 is Ted Beneke from Breaking Bad. He is a guy who gets things done and puts his business ahead and will do pretty much anything to come out on top, like fraud. So third is Ted Wheeler from Stranger Things. And he is an average conservative who believes that Reaganomics will save the middle class and create a utopia. So he's stupid. Fourth sponsor is Caesar from Fallout New Vegas. He would agree with Trump in the fact that he is pro-capital punishment and generally just likes promoting violence. Mr. House would also endorse Trump, but for different reasons. More on like a libertarian kind of slant. Next endorsement comes from Tom Nook of Animal Crossing fame. So Tom Nook is a ruthless ANCAP who is living his best life at the expense of the townspeople, or towns animals. The towns animals. But your character is a person. So, I don't know. I don't really know what the lore is. Like, why are you never mind. Anyway, Tom Nook completely fucks your progression in the early game of Animal Crossing. Fucks your ability to explore. You can't afford a goddamn fishing rod or a net, a bug net, to save your goddamn life. He just straps you with so much debt early on. I remember as a kid, like, not believing that was a real thing. Like, I was like, well, that kind of breaks. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, why is he charging me so many bells for this dinky little shack? Like, how is that? That can't be right. That can't be legal. Like, this is obviously an obstacle that the game is putting in here that is just kind of like, you know, it's not a, you know, representation of how reality works. And then I remember like talking to my dad about it and was like, you know how kids just fucking yap about the games that they're playing, and or maybe my dad just came in there saw what I was playing on the old GameCube. And he was like, no, that's real. Like, it was like, I mean, this is around like 2008 also, like during the recession and stuff. And he was like, yeah, that's real. And if you don't pay that, like, they're going to take your fucking house. He didn't say that to me, but like, he broke that down in that way and was like, yeah, you don't get rid of that debt. It's going to eat you alive. And you're gonna, you don't actually own your house and this kind of thing. And I was like, what the what the fuck? What do you mean? This isn't just an Animal Crossing thing? So that was a radicalizing experience. Another way that Tom Nook also fits into this kind of Trumpian kind of archetype is that he has 2 babies and no wife to show for it. And I think that the lore there is that he was initially a deadbeat who got caught in his shit, and then he was like, all right, fuck, I'll fucking watch these stupid fucking kids. And then his wife or his partner, whoever popped out those other mongooses, whoever popped those out, she's dead from something. It was probably cancer. Probably couldn't get proper medication for cancer, and then maybe was writing him and was like, please, cut a check. And he just read the letter and went, fucking bitch. Anyway, he ends up with custody of fucking Timmy and Tommy, or the kids, and he just forces them into the family business. These kids are not in school. They're working the counter. I'm going to circle back around to the debt that he saddles us with, that mortgage, because that shit seems way out of proportion with how small the shack is that we get. And I'm kind of thinking, and you don't have to follow me down this road if this is too much for you, because we're the only human character, and all the other animals are happy living in ostensibly like kind of like a pseudo utopia. Like nothing's really going wrong with them. They're all like their biggest conflict in their lives is like that fucking their next door neighbor like won't hang out with them. Like it's like they have like very Banshees of Inisherin type conflict. Like very like just interpersonal stuff. Nothing big on like a material level. We are the only human in the town. I think. I can't remember properly. I think we are. And you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I think we're being discriminated against by Tom Nook. I think he's racist, and I think that he's racist. And he is making us pay more for way less. And I remember taking my fucking bug net and trying to smack him in the head with it, because that's like as close as you can get to violence in Animal Crossing. So I was like living out like a communist dream, like an armed revolt as a kid. Not because I thought that I was being discriminated against, but I'm like, I think I was just still, I couldn't see past the like that ridiculous fucking debt that he put me in. I want to kill him and take over his shop. Next we have Drayton Sawyer of Texas Chainsaw Massacre fame. He is an unscrupulous entrepreneur, a model Texan, and he is the kind of American that we should all strive to be. We should all emulate family values as he does. My battery just died. Fuck. So my camera died, and I could not find the battery pack to charge the camera until like really late. So that was fun. So it is Halloween now. Know what you're thinking? You disgusting bastard, you just put the same clothes on? I took these off immediately after the camera died and I stopped recording yesterday, so I've still got about like 5 hours left of non-funk time in these, but then they're going to be kind of funky after that. Okay, so next on the list is Captain Falcon. His libertarian bravado speaks for itself. Next on the list, we have Freddy Krueger. So, Freddy Krueger is a prime example of what happens when the left cancels you on unfounded allegations. Let's get it right, folks. Freddy Krueger is the victim of a witch hunt. What are the allegations, you ask? well. Next is Mr. Electric. His libertarian bravado speaks for itself. After that, we have Chucky, who knows that the Republican political agenda is bad for the average person, which is why he's on board. Next, we have the Red M&M, who is an anti-feminist with a particularly lustful glare. After the Red M&M, we have Albert Wesker from Resident Evil. Albert Wesker's agenda aligns perfectly with the agenda of the Republican Party. World domination. Willy Wonka joins the coalition because he hates regulations almost as much as he hates children. Which, by the way, he has several. But unlike Tom Nook, he ignores them. Another notable fact about Willy Wonka, he enslaved indigenous populations and then made that act of enslaving Oompa Loompas palatable to middle-class moral sensibilities by very, very effective musical propaganda that was performed by the Oompa Loompas. I mean, he's an evil bastard. Next, we have the Blue M&M, who is the Red M&M's younger brother. So the Blue M&M's public persona is built all around casting doubt on the myriad sexual harassment lawsuits that have been filed against his brother. Blue M&M covers the traditional media circuit. Red M&M is talking to Jordan Peterson about how red lipstick on women is sexually provocative to young men. Next, we have a bit of a trio. We have Theoden King, Chief Patriarch of Rohan, his special counsel, Grima Wormtongue, and his special counsel's employer, Saruman, the wise and the just. Again, I just think that the aims and the attitudes of Theoden King, Grima Wormtongue, and Saruman all align, at least when Theoden looks like this. It all aligns perfectly with the typical Republican agenda, as well as their attitudes and their values. Here's your typical red-blooded Rohan/Isengard patriotic commandments. 1. You don't question the weird old bastard who runs things around here. 2. You fucking hate trees. 3. Your worth is dependent on how good of a soldier you are. 4. You love feeding the natural world to the fires of industry as a means of pumping out the most technologically advanced fighting force the world has ever seen, so the weird old bastards in charge can take that fighting force and take over the world and try to satisfy their own greed. You like that. Next, we have the illustrious Krabs. This man is a ruthless, union-busting wage slaver who is proudly not above vengeful business tactics against regulators. For example, the health inspector who he suspected, Krabs justifiably suspected that the health inspector was trying to get a free meal, that he was posing as a health inspector, and he was just a hungry bastard on the street who came in and said, I want a free Krabby Patty, I'm a health inspector. Mr. Krabs said, fuck you, you're gonna get poisoned. And that's what they did. They made the nasty patty. And other things happened. But, including, kind of putting it together, in kind of an indirect way, Krabs did lead to police brutality. When the health inspector got a fucking anchor over his head because the police were too fucking stupid to see that he wasn't a zombie. Man, SpongeBob. Great show. Also, Krabs has a daughter and no wife. He's insecure about aging, and he has trouble in romantic situations. Next, we have the mayor of Whoville, who is an autocratic pervert. Then we have the Grinch. Unlike Chucky, whose chaotic evil aligns with the Republican Party's lawful evil, the pre-Chairmeister, I have to read this part off the script because it's very video SAE. The pre-Chairmeister Grinch is more of a neutral evil character, I would say. He's chaotic due to his vitriolic impulses being propelled by sheer hate for Christmas, but he also maintains a code of conduct as well, by that very same hatred for Christmas. He would stick to his solitude principle as a way of maintaining loyalty to himself by not voting for Donald Trump, but he would in fact endorse Donald Trump because his vengeful, chaotic half would not allow him to lose the opportunity to be a shit stirrer. So Dr. Doofenshmirtz is an anti-animal rights divorced dad. He lost any semblance of social liberalism when his wife walked out the door, and that hole has since been filled with insecurity and the chill of loneliness. Next we have Tank Dempsey from Call of Duty Zombies, who is an ultra-masculine, xenophobic soldier who wants to shoot people who do not speak English. Who wrote this fucking script, man? As for Richtofen, he wouldn't vote even if he were a U.S. citizen, but he would be tickled if Trump won. John Hammond of Jurassic Park is our next entry. He hates regulations, and he ignores his grandchildren. And he doesn't listen to scientists either. Next, we have the executive that Jack Quaid played in The Substance, probably because he profits off of women's bodies and he eats shrimp with no cocktail sauce. At least I don't think I saw cocktail sauce in that scene. The last sponsor that we have for Trump is JBL, who is a renowned Texan with a strained relationship with Mexico. He was an oil magnate who was deeply insecure about his masculinity, so he put on his tights and decided to wrestle his insecurities away. I actually unironically fucking love JBL. I love him, dude. If JBL ran for president, I would switch my party and become a Republican. That is not true. Oh! If you looked at the runtime of this video, you would know this sucker ain't over just yet. I got another list for you. Here comes a list of fictional characters who would be silent Trump voters. And we're going to do this in the form of a lightning round. First, we have Marie Schrader from Breaking Bad, who is pro-law enforcement and likes the sound of mass deportation of Latino migrants despite her husband being killed by white domestic terrorists. Tough. Next, we have Ned Stark. Big fan of capital punishment, this guy. Next, we have Joel Miller from The Last of Us. This is specifically Joel Miller from the first game. This is pre-Ellie Joel. He thinks Republicans are good for the economy and that if Trump were elected, he could save up for a new house instead of spending all his hard-earned low wages on gas. Also, he's a single dad from Texas. Kind of cooks him a little bit. Definitely going for Trump. Next, we have Han Solo. Han Solo is a silent Trump voter because he disagrees with welfare as a concept. Next is Cindy Lou Who's dad. He fell for the endorsement by the mayor, and he willingly ignored the Grinch's endorsement despite his intuition telling him otherwise. And he thinks that Trump can't be too bad, and that, maybe neoliberal consumerism is good for Christmas after all. Next, we have Bill Maher. So this character is from Real Time with Bill Maher, and this character says a lot of Republican talking points in a very unfunny manner. Next, Ines Del Mar, who is secretly yet knowingly casting a vote against himself as punishment. After that, we have Mermaid Man from SpongeBob. So this is a Blue Lives Matter vote. He's not the vigilante he once was, so he's trading in his clamshell bra for one of those freedom t-shirts with a flag on the sleeve. He's unconsciously sympathetic to alt-right militia groups who claim to keep the peace. He sees himself in them a little bit, perhaps. We need a documentary. Next, we have Elrond from Lord of the Rings. He just kind of sees the appeal of the border wall. Next, Sandy Cheeks from SpongeBob. She thinks widespread privatization will create a climate of healthy competition that will inspire innovation. It is literally beyond her imagination that corporations would cheat and destroy each other and purposely stall innovation as a means of milking more money from the boobs of the middle class. Last, we have Gaston, who hates women, but loves to pick them up in front of their boyfriends. So that was our lightning round. That was our silent voters. There we go. That's the whole video. I'm not going to take anyone else's time up anymore, including my own.
I pledge allegiance to the bag. Money make my tail wag. Money make my tail wag.
I don't know if any of that political rant is going to make it into the video. I don't know if I want my actual political stance out right now, except for the fact that I am a left-leaning person who is going to vote for Kamala Harris.
I made it out the hood, I don't take bullshit. Got my shit on TikTok, it's a hit. I saw LeBron James hairlines, eating lemon pepper silicone. I call your bitch on the telephone, I got it.